Rather than trying to find that there's no self, like who am I, who is the one, who is the knower, this asks, what is all of this? What am I perceiving? And what is perceived is awareness only. The inward path, which is what Advaita Vedanta is based around, is looking for the emptiness of self. There's no self. So there was a very famous video from the 70s. It's called The Power of 10. And it's a video of going 10 times further away from a person lying on a towel. Wow. So every shot is 10 times more. So towel, person, city, and it goes all the way out until empty space with round objects. The other direction, it goes into the person, and it goes into the body and into the thing, and you end up with empty space and round objects. Right? Wow. They both go to the same place. Wow. So Advaita Vedanta takes you inward towards no self. And what that, from my observation, what that tends to open up is this profound love. So that when the self dissolves, there's this profound love. The outward path, which is, I didn't really come across that path readily. I came across a teacher who doesn't live anymore. He was 600 years ago, called Longchenpa, who wrote a book called The Precious Treasure of the Basic State. And it's basically, you know, a 200-page poem about your true nature. It's very, very, for some people it's very difficult to understand, but for some reason, for me, it was just completely clear from day one. Wow. And it describes the outward path. And what this means is, rather than trying to find that there's no self, like who am I, who is the one, who is the knower, which is also very powerful, that they're equal. This asks, what is all of this? What am I perceiving? So rather than who is perceiving, it's what is perceived. And what is perceived is awareness only. So there's only two things that exist. There is awareness, which is our power to know. And that is the Advaita path of who is the knower, the power to know. And there is all appearances. They're not two. So when you look at the direct path, rather than asking who is in, you're saying, this is awareness, this is awareness, this is awareness, this is awareness, this is awareness. My headache is awareness, my loneliness is awareness, my cravings are awareness. So when you have suffering in your life, you always need a subject and an object. Advaita Vedanta removes the subject. Yes. Dzogchen removes the object. Oh, wow, yes. They both end up free. The same place, yeah. Right. Yeah. So, but I believe that the real deepest awakening is both. So about maybe 5-6 years ago, that's when I met Muji. I started looking, well now, because I've done so much liberation in the outward path, I can now start looking at the inward path. So I practice both. I think both are beautiful. Wow. They are both to the same place, but it's just two different doors. What's more appropriate? If I'm feeling a certain way, it might be easier just to remind myself that there is no self. But that recognition, there is no self. Who is suffering? And in another instance, it might be, so I lose my iPhone. Well, it's completely empty. Like it's made of awareness. So and over time they marinate together. So you're not even thinking about it. You're just free. Wow. So that's what I would describe as that the outward path is the direct perception, but they do have a different quality in terms of who is attracted to them and where they result. And I do find that I notice with your own community that the Advaita Vedanta path, the inward path, promotes a love. Yes. I'm so in love. This love, which is so liberating. And the outward path promotes empowerment. Empowerment, strength.
Empowerment, okay.
I'm indestructible. Nothing can disturb me.
Yeah.
So it's a very stable path.
Wow.
But I like both together because I think the love is beautiful, to be so in love with life. So yeah.
Wow, it's so watching the same thing very different way. It's really beautiful what I am listening from you and only other exist.
Yeah. So it's interesting because there is only one way to be, which is your already awakened nature.
Wow.
And each person will have some way that is more aligned for them to initially find that. And whatever that is, that will come up in how people perceive what's being said based on their own causes and conditions. So someone might walk into a meditation room and go, I want to meditate. Someone might go to an ecstatic dance tantra thing and be like, I like this. That can be a little bit misleading because the personality can also like that. So you have to watch out for that. And some might go to direct path and say, I resonate with this. But once you've found your way, it's very good to go all the way with it. But then when you feel like I'm very established in this, then we can start looking at other paths. I would used to have resistance to the Advaita Vedanta path. I'm like, well, I don't need to know if there's a self because there isn't anything at all. What matter if there's a self when there's only awareness?
Wow.
But I start to see that all of these lineages by great sages, from the Dzogchen masters to the rishis who wrote the Upanishads, to the teachers who brought Advaita Vedanta back, to the Sufis and that whole lineage, everyone is contributing to this beautiful, resonant liberation of all of humanity.
Wow.
And all of it plays a part, like a garden with all its different flowers. It all plays a part. It's all welcome.
Wow, so beautiful.